Hello, my name is Joe Alloway, and I am the Recruitment Coordinator for the University of Alaska Fairbanks College of Engineering and Mines. This presentation is to tell you a little bit about the wonderful world of engineering, what it is, what it's not, and how the opportunities of the University of Alaska Fairbanks might be a good fit for you. So, without further ado, let's dive into the wonderful world of engineering with a question. What do engineers actually do? And as you can see from the pictures in the slide, there's a lot of different sorts of things that engineers work on, but this is not even close to a comprehensive list. It should suffice to say that engineers do darn near everything. So to give you an example of that, I want you to imagine for a moment your life. Think about all the things that are alive and natural in your life. You, your family, your pets, the plants in your yard or your garden. Those are all things that are not products of engineering. Everything else, yeah, pretty much is a product of engineering. So the house that you live in, the clothes that you wear, the phone that you're using to watch this presentation, the Switch console that you're, of course, obviously playing Animal Crossing on. Those are all products of engineering. They're not naturally occurring things, but they are using resources that are present in the natural world to create things that are entirely new. So a good next question would be, what is engineering? Well, engineering is the profession in which knowledge of the mathematical and natural sciences, gained by study, experience, and practice, is applied with judgment to develop ways to economically utilize the materials and forces of nature for the benefit of humankind. So, to take that paragraph apart, well, really it's only a sentence, but to take that sentence apart, basically, mathematicians and natural scientists observe the world. They study it, they understand how things work the way they work. They then write papers about it, they write books about it, and those explain to the rest of the world how these observations, these discoveries, might be useful. From that point, engineers take up the torch and they start working together to find ways to take that discovery of natural science or math and to make it practical, to create something out of it that people can use that's going to, as the slide says, economically benefit humankind. That's engineering. So how is that different from science? Well, basically, as I just said, natural science and mathematical sciences are all about observation and understanding how the world is the way it is and why things are the way they are. Engineering is about taking that discovery and going to the next step and asking, how can we make it useful? So here's a couple of nice quotes about that. So Theodore von Karman says, scientists discover the world that exists, engineers create the world that never was. Albert Einstein says, scientists investigate that which already is, engineers create that which has never been. So what do engineers actually do? Well, they apply math and science to benefit humankind. They make a world of difference in that is the job. Change the world, even in a small way. Remember that a small change that helps one person is a very good thing. But if that small change that helps one person could be multiplied towards many, many people, pretty soon that can be a very big difference in the world. And that's the goal of engineering. Engineers are creative problem solvers because remember, you have to be creative if you want to be innovative. If you want things to be different in the future, if you want things to get better, it's not enough to simply do what's being done right now. An engineer always has to be willing to try new things and to be creative and to be flexible in their work. Because we want the future to be better than the world that we have right now. And we're very lucky because this is the philosophy of engineers from throughout history. All of our engineering systems are much better now than they were in the Roman times, and that's the way it should be. Help shape the future, speaking of from Roman times to modern times, and provide services that are essential to our health, happiness, and safety. A lot of things that we take for granted, like drinkable water, the internet, passable roads, these are all things that I can promise you'd miss if they weren't there tomorrow. And the biggest incentive, in my opinion, for anybody to go into any field, you can turn your ideas into reality. What could be a better way to make a living than that? Another important lesson for engineers is that they need to work together. They need to be willing to work on teams because a lot of the projects that engineers work on are very, very complicated. So, for example, if you wanted to design a car, a bridge, a robot, a drone, or anything like that, realistically, you should have more than one person working on this project. So, for example, if you wanted to make a team of engineers to build a humanoid robot, what kind of engineers would you need? Well, what does the robot need to do? You're going to need mechanical engineers for the structural and articulation components. It needs to be able to stand or hold the position that it's supposed to hold, and it also needs to be able to move. Otherwise, it's just a statue, right? Well, that's where mechanical engineers come in. Electrical engineers, the sensors, controls, motors, batteries, and other power sources. In order to move, it must have power, right? And so that must be integrated into everything in order for it to be able to actually accomplish the tasks that it's being programmed to do. Computer engineers integrate and interface the computers to control all the hardware. If you think about this in terms of the human body, this would be like your nerve systems. When those nerves fire, they're getting a signal from the brain that's telling them to do something, clench that muscle. That's your nerves, and that's the contribution of the computer engineers. And finally, computer scientists. You need good algorithms to make that robot work well. And to continue the analogy of the human body, that's the brain, right? So if you wanted to have all of that knowledge in one person's head, it would probably take several decades for that person to be able to create that same robot that this team was able to create in just years. So we save a lot of time and we produce more in our lifetimes if we work together. So, in conclusion, what is engineering? Engineering is the field that takes the observations and discoveries of natural and mathematical sciences and asks the question, how can we make this useful for people? And takes the next step. And things being useful and things being better or things being improved can mean a lot of different things. It's not just about making sure buildings are safe and bridges don't collapse and things like that. It's also about making things fun. Remember that your cell phone is also a product of engineering. Remember that your video game systems are also products of engineering. And the programs, the games, the applications on those things are also the products of engineering in the form of computer science and graphic design. So engineering is a huge field that's based around the idea of taking knowledge and making it into something even more useful than it already is. And if that sounds like something that you're interested in, well, please tune in for the next video, and I'd love to tell you more about our different engineering programs at the University of Alaska Fairbanks. Thank you for your time. My name is Joe Alloway, and if you'd like to learn more, feel free to email me at joe.uaf@alaska.edu. Thank you for your time, and I'll look forward to hearing from you soon.